I'm just gonna keep waving
Yeah,
at people.
dude, yeah, it's fine. You're watching IGN at San Diego Comic-Con. He's popped up in Dune, Oppenheimer, the MCU, had multiple roles in the DC multiverse. It's always a pleasure to run into him here at San Diego Comic-Con. David Dastmalchian, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Pleasure to speak to you,
So
David.
good to be here with you
Happy
yet
Comic-Con.
again. Thanks, man.
Yes.
You're one of my favorites.
Oh, dude, we love you here. Now, first off, we got to talk about something that us at IGN are so excited about. You have just been cast as M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie. Can you talk about what that experience is going to be like for you, and how close to the games you think you're going to try to get your M. Bison?
I have no idea. I have no expectation. The only thing I know is that I'm so honored. Like, I'm so grateful that Kitao has chosen me to come on this journey with him and the rest of the team. I think that it's in such incredible hands with Legendary. They have just delivered one amazing film after the next, and they care so much about IP, existing properties, and I'm really thrilled and honored. And I've just been getting in character by going to the arcade and playing a lot of Street Fighter 2, and I never lose.
Oh, man. Well, I think you should probably carry that into the movie if M. Bison is going to be an imposing villain. What do you think? Should he have white eyes?
It's a decision to make.
Yeah.
I'm not weighing in on anything yet. I'm not weighing in on any of that because I have all my thoughts and opinions, which I'm now in private conversation sharing with the boss, and you're just gonna have to wait and see.
We're very excited. We know it's in good hands. You've got another graphic novel coming out called Through.
Yeah.
You've called this one of the most important things that you've ever written. Can you go into that a little bit?
I've been working on this book for 20 years, and it is, on the surface, a labyrinthine adventure journey into an alternate reality that's been constructed for this woman, our hero. Her name's Alex. She's a freshman in college who may or may not have attempted to take her own life. And when she was rescued by this old mysterious man, it leads her down this pathway into discovering another reality, like Alice going through the looking glass. And this world through that she discovers seems to have been almost constructed based on her own life, her own secrets, her own struggles. As I was writing the book, I realized I wrote it for myself. I mean, I wrote it for others. I hope everyone who reads it has an incredible experience with it, but I never realized how much I needed to write a story about going into the labyrinth that's inside of me and finding all the clues that go all the way back to when I'm 8, 9 years old and trying to unlock the doors to these places that I haven't allowed myself to go yet as an adult, both emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And the fantastic art, the world that's created by Kat Staggs, is so beautiful, so mesmerizing. My dream is that when you experience the book, it's like the first time you watched Pan's Labyrinth, maybe, or watching a Terry Gilliam film, or something like that.
Well, you know what, you say something that's so interesting to me about how, you know, horror gives you this chance to enter this labyrinth within ourselves. You're also a writer on DC's Creature Commandos. Can you talk a little bit, I know that's been a big, run for you since you were a kid. Can you talk a little bit about how horror, your love for that came out in that run?
There's so many different forms of horror. Horror is like love. The spectrum is so wide and ranging, and I am so grateful that I get to explore so many of the different spectrums of my love of horror. So in the Creature Commandos space, the horror, the body horror, and the violence horror, and the military horror all goes back to this concept of self and identity and agency. And each of these monsters, although they are in their conditions, afflicted with something that makes them bad monsters to society, these are still human beings who are struggling with a condition that they carry which others them, which sets them aside from what the, kind of normative society would have them be. And although they have used that power for, mostly sometimes not great ends, they have an opportunity right now for redemption to do something that they think is going to help humanity. And what they find out in the journey that I got to create with Creature Commandos, at least in our first volume, was that maybe what the government asked them to do wasn't exactly what they thought they were going to do. Yeah. They're disposable. In a similar way to the Suicide Squad, which I got to be a part of James Gunn's,
the polka dot man.
So movie hero, a superhero movie making, he changed the game. He changes the game every time he makes a new movie. Obviously, Superman has just changed the game again. Peacemaker changes the game again. But with the Suicide Squad, I fell so in love, and I went back to this idea of like taking those marginalized people who've been so villainized, giving them a shot at redemption, but the manipulation that is still happening and the fear, I thought we could really explore a cool story, and I'm grateful DC lets me write cool stuff for them.
Well, a lot of monsters in that one. You got a lot of monsters in your another book you're writing, Count Crowley.
Yes.
You know, that puts kind of a unique spin on the idea of monster hunting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So in Count Crowley, Jerry Bartman is wants to be what you are. She wants to be a news person. She wants to deliver information to people, and unfortunately, she struggles with alcoholism. She's had a traumatic experience in her life and a number of traumas before that, and instead of processing them in a healthy way, she's turned to alcohol, which has ruined her career. So the only job she can get on camera is putting on the makeup of the late night horror host for the local TV station, Count Crowley. It turns out the guy she replaced was actually a real life monster hunter. Monsters are real. They've been manipulating the media with fake news and information from powerful places. What does that sound like?
Yeah, I know, crazy. What?
Trying to attack women, marginalized people, trying to go after those who don't have power and keep the power separate from them. And so Jerry not only has to figure out how to be sober, because no one trusts her anymore. Her family, if she says to them, "Oh my God, I saw a werewolf," they're gonna go, "Well, you were wasted again." So now, those people are excited.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I love being here.
This is Saturday at Comic-Con. Anything can happen.
So she picks up the mantle and becomes a monster hunter. And I think any of us can. The world is filled with good monsters. The world has some bad monsters in it, and we gotta protect the good monsters and stand up for the good monsters and stick together and battle the bad monsters.
I'll take you calling me as a good monster.
You are a good monster. You are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, Late Night, and Late Night with the Devil is one of my favorite horror movies of the last few years.
Thanks.
An incredible spin on the found footage genre.
I've had people tell me that you are a big fan. Like, that's how big of a fan you are, which... Thank you.
I am such a champion for that movie. I am always a fan of seeing, especially a single location horror movie done really well.
Yeah.
When you look back at that experience, what's the thing that you really take away? And actually, I have another question for you to follow up on that, which is maybe if you could comment on how you see Late Night with the Devil now that there's this conversation going on about the death of late night.
Yeah. It's very interesting timing that the film took place just on the cusp of what's happening right now in the death of late night. And I see there's a poster for the movie, like right here on the street.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Something about focusing on story, performance, and character first before you worry about world building, before you worry about crazy special effects, even before you worry about crazy kills. And God knows, I love the crazy kills in horror movies. Yeah. But really getting in there and focusing on what is the purpose of this, and the purpose of this story that I think people could relate to was the idea of here's a guy who every night gets in front of a camera like you do and has to present a version of himself to the world. Well, internally, what do you do today? Honestly, Tom, like what do you do if on your way to work today you get some terrible news or something horrible happens? You still have to be here and smile.
Keep working.
You do. So Jack has been doing that for so long that now he's twisted inside and he's so broken and scared, and as this evil entity starts to arise on the set of his talk show, all of his dark truths start coming to the surface. Now, speaking of dark truths, is late night really dead? Is it dying? Are there people in power who are so scared of one of the only places where it seems like people can speak out against them anymore that they're coming after them? I don't know. Maybe what we're about to see is the resurrection of the late night form. Maybe it's going to take another shape, but the fact that we have such, insanely obtuse, just wildly brazen bullies sitting on thrones who then can't take an ounce of criticism without deciding that they're going to destroy people's careers. It's a scary time we live in. It's its own horror movie, and I think we're watching it play out in real time. But the great news is, you guys, it doesn't have to end horrifically. We can unify, we can stand up, and we can make sure that people who oppose things that they disagree with still have a voice, because that's what this country is all about.
Yeah.
We may not love this government, but we love this country, and that's what this country stands for. I'm off my soapbox now. I'm Dave Dastmalchian. I'm here at San Diego Comic-Con, and I approve this message.
Sure does. Now, let's end with this one. I know you are a lover of horror. You popped up in The Boogeyman in the opening scene of that. I'm sure you are a massive Stephen King fan. If you got to take a crack at starring in another Stephen King adaptation, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. I think I could be a really great rabid dog if we got to remake Cujo. Maybe I could do the
Benedict
motion
Cumberbatch
capture.
Smaug.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll be the Benedict Cumberbatch. When I watched what he did with Smaug,
Yeah.
and I got to do some motion capture with Veb in
Yes.
Quantum Mania. The dog. Honestly, though, truly, there's so many amazing Stephen King works over my lifetime. When I think about getting to go play in the world of like Dark Tower,
Of course.
getting to do
Be
something
a pretty
in that
good man in
space.
black. You're already dressed for it. Come on.
I may or may not have asked him to ask me this question just so I could stand here today and hope that somebody out there is watching. And how cool is it that right now, in the hands of the most capable Mike Flanagan, Carrie is happening?
Yes.
There's so many cool effing things happening in the Stephen King
Stephen
verse.
King's in good
My
hands.
dream is to actually get Stephen King to come lay down in the casket with me on my show, Grave Conversations, where we lay in coffins and talk about life. So Stephen, please come join me.
I'd watch that conversation. David, thank you so
You're the
much
best,
for
man.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
You're the best. You can catch David right now on Dexter Resurrection. This is David. And
David
Murderbot.
Resurrection.
And next year he'll be in the Street Fighter movie and the second season of Netflix's One Piece. But right now there is more Comic-Con to come. Stick around.